Heat 1 coming up with the top pairings, the opening partnerships for both sides in contention. On the inside there we have Chris Morton in red for England. Next to him Bobby Schwartz, the American captain, in the white helmet. Grid 3 has Michael Lee, top scorer for England in the third test at Cradley. He'll be wearing blue. And on the outside, Dennis Sigalos in the yellow and black helmet for the USA. He was their top scorer at Cradley with 14 points. So there are the two top scorers, two world-class riders. Lee, of course, number 3 in the world last year. Sigalos in the frame in Los Angeles. Here we go for heat number 1, and Lee is impatient. Again, they come out of start, and Lee's got a flyer. Lee away, and so is Morton. And it's the English pairing who show, and that is a surprise. Sigalos comes through into third place, and what a start for England with Lee in front. Morton is second, Sigalos is third. And the referee, Frank Ebdon, is not having it. He is stopping the race. He could not have been happy with that start. Well, let's have another look at it again and see what the problem was. Now, were they all standing still when he pressed the button? It certainly looked that way, and it looked as though Lee got a fair, clear start there. And it's difficult to imagine what was going on through the mind of Frank Ebdon. He wasn't happy with the start, and it may well have robbed England. And it could well be that he was annoyed about the infringement by Lee. Earlier he pushed the tapes, and it could be that he was excluding Lee. Certainly he got away cleanly enough there, but the tapes were pushed before the tapes were actually released, and we have controversy right at the start of this 4th test match.
Quite a sensation down here, Michael, because you were threatening to quit the meeting. You've got changed, then got changed back again.
Yeah, well, I had a chat with John Berry, the promoter here at Ipswich, and Carl Glover, the team manager of England. But I just feel that strongly that Speedway is being ruined by the new regulations through starting and the way referees are treating it now. You know, I mean, I touched the tapes once in the first race, and there's a lot of pressure there. When you can imagine 4 riders sat there first race, we're all under a lot of tension. You know, if they can't understand that, then where do we stand? You know, I mean, I'm just jarred off with the whole deal at the moment.
But you're going to ride again?
Oh, you know, I've got to ride. It's England. We want to beat the Americans. I'll go out there and do my best, but I'm just really jarred off with the whole thing at the moment, the way Speedway is going. You know, I think it's being ruined by regulations. That's all I've got to say on it.
Louis on the outside. Here we go, 6-12 the score in America's favour. This is heat number 4. Seems to be an awful long time before getting unleashed, and away they go. There's a pretty close run up to the first corner. It is Schwartz in front, and Woods has done a brilliant corner there and locked back on the inside. Woods leads it. In second place it's Schwartz. In third place it is Sigalos, and that's the 2 Eastbourne teammates who are battling it out in front. And again the referee is going to stop it, and this really is getting to be just a trifle farcical. The referee stopped the first heat, and it looks like he's going to exclude Paul Woods for touching the tapes. Let's have a look again. Let's have a look at it. Did he touch the tapes? Well, I would not care to put my life on it. It looks like Woods is coming out, and that is mystifying. And let's have a look again. The evidence on television, you can see Paul Woods just touches the tapes there. It was a long time before the start, but the referee, Frank Ebdon, sticking to his job in the most Corinthian way and takes him out.
Well, Carl Glover, first of all, what about these refereeing decisions?
He seems to be very, very keen on the job, but I mean, we were warned before the meeting started. You touch the tapes, you're out. The man made it perfectly clear, even from heat 1, and so we can't really argue about it. If he says a thing and he carries it out, then we can't argue about it.
I think you were a bit relieved that Michael Lee changed his mind in the dressing room. He got changed and said he was storming out of the meeting at one stage.
Yeah, Michael sometimes goes off like a bottle of pop, but he's realised he's a sensible lad. He's come back, there's no problem.
Coming up to heat 6, there's the score, and England will now look to their top pairing of Chris Morton and the disgruntled but possibly reinvigorated Michael Lee to stop the rot here in heat 6. There are the partnerships. Let's have a look at the way they peel off on the grid. On the inside, it's Sean Moran, unbeaten and untroubled in his opening ride. Next to him, Michael Lee. He must be careful not to touch the tapes. Grid 3 has Sam Ermolenko, who had a real fighting, battling second place in his opening ride. On the outside, Chris Morton, who has indeed been England's only race winner. He is on the outside here. And this one could well be something very special, because we have 4 guys in here who will give nothing away in Heat 6, with the Americans leading 21-9 and England beginning to look for inspiration up on the inside. Moran's got a terrific start, so too has Morton from the outside. Ermolenko has gone with them as well, and Lee has stopped. Lee has stopped. The Americans are in front, and the race continues. And you wonder what is the matter with Michael Lee, but the Americans are running rampant. And here is Michael Lee, and that's a sad picture which somehow sums up England's hopes and expectations here at Ipswich, back in the pits with his head down. And it really is throwing the Christians in against the Lions here in Heat 7. Let's see what the kids can do. And it looks like Schwartz may have touched it. Yeah, Schwartz certainly had a go. And away they go. The red light is on. Now, who is he excluded this time? It is Schwartz. Schwartz must come out for touching the tapes, and the referee is having absolutely no nonsense at all. Now, Bobby Schwartz is a very explosive customer. He's coming back round, and I'm sure that Boogaloo will have something to say for himself. Well, there is the man who has caused more discussion on the terraces here at Vauxhall Heath Racing. The referee, Frank Ebdon, who warned the riders about tape touching and has absolutely stuck to the letter of the law. But my word, there's going to be some discussion about his emphatic enforcement of the law after this test match. It really has been the feature of it. Well, there's the score, and it's England really who've come off worst from his Corinthian refereeing. And the Americans have taken 28 points from the last 6 heats. There's the lineup for Heat 8. We're wondering what Michael Lee will do. He said, well, whenever he tries to race, he gets excluded. Looking across, we have on the inside John Cook, next to him Lee. Grid 3 has Lance King, who's unbeaten, and on the outside Chris Morton. And, well, what will Michael Lee do now? This is Heat 8, and Lee has got a flyer. An absolute flyer up to the first corner. Cook has gone with him and moves him out. And Morton has come round on the inside again. It is being stopped. Oh, really, this is quite astonishing. There is Lee. He got a flyer. Whether he touched the tapes or not, perhaps our replay will show. Let's have a look at it. Now, was he stood still? Was there any tape touching? Well, he got a flyer. I don't think he touched the tapes, but he anticipated it. There doesn't seem to be an exclusion light on. And Lee is shaking his head here. There's Ray Chinnery, the track marshal, and Michael Lee just cannot believe what's going on. So the lineup again, on the inside John Cook, next to him Michael Lee, who must be thinking he's sitting on a barrel of dynamite. Grid 3 has King, on the outside Mawson. Here we go for Heat 8 again. Lee has anticipated beautifully. Up to the corner it is Lee, and Cook has moved him out, and Morton is coming high around the outside, and Morton has ridden a perfect couple of first corners. Tremendous. Cook and Morton together, and Cook having none of it. And we look at the back. Where is the battle going to come from? Morton has swung back inside. Beautiful, tremendous race. Lee is at the back. It's Morton and Cook up front, and Morton goes clear. In third place it is King. And this Morton is the one Englishman who looks capable of getting among the Yanks. Again, Lee has pulled out. But, well, we really must look at the blokes up front, because Cook, again, is having a tremendous battle here with Chris Morton. Here is that battle. Morton has been England's only race winner. He's got John Cook right on his back wheel. Looks down at his machinery into the last lap, just 328 yards here around Vauxhall Heath. And little Chris Morton, really well race from Cheshire, is the only man really who is unbowed by the Americans. He wins Heat 8, second place is Cook, third place is King, and Lee again has pulled out of the action. There is Michael Lee, and he clearly is unhappy with life, but really he ought to buckle down and get on with the job. He's doing England no good at the moment.
But as you've seen, controversy all the way today, with riders being excluded after touching the tapes at the start. And the man responsible for those decisions, referee Frank Ebdon, is now talking to Gary Newbon.
Well, referee Frank Ebdon, there's a lot of bad feeling against you in the pits from some of the riders who've been excluded. They think that you're being too harsh.
Well, I can't comment on bad feeling, and of course I'm not allowed to comment on any decisions. All I can say is that it's made clear to all the riders before the start what the rules are. That is, they've been warned that if they touch the tapes, then they'll be excluded. And of course, there have only been a couple of riders who've done that. The rest have remained still. And of course, we've had fair starts as a result. But I can't discuss anything else.
No, but could you explain, as far as the rules are concerned? I mean, it's not very often in Speedway meetings where you see so many times early on where riders are excluded for just touching the tapes like that without breaking them.
Yes, as I say, I can't discuss the individual decisions, but the rules have, of course, been changed this year.
Yes.
And this year the rule is that if someone touches the tapes once, they're liable to be excluded. If they touch them twice, they will be excluded. It's very difficult to have a situation where you're warning some riders for doing it and excluding other riders for doing it. So it's made clear, they're all given a clear warning before the start. And in fact, of course, you've only seen 2 riders out of all of them who have been excluded for doing it. But we have to be consistent right the way through.
Michael Lee, you clearly had enough. Going home.
Yeah, I calmed down a bit now and thought about it. You know, what can I say? It's kind of, after those 2 incidents, it's just finished my enthusiasm for racing for the day, to be honest.
Has it finished your career, though?
I don't think it's finished my career, I hope not, but certainly it's made me think twice about Speedway for the time being, you know. I mean, it's just getting so ridiculous now with the way the referees are handling the sport, and the public agrees so. You know, I have public around me saying the same thing. And it's the same with every rider and everyone in the pits. Everyone's of the same opinion. Referees are ruining the sport.
You've already been suspended, Michael, by your club pool. This presumably could lead to another suspension as well, couldn't it?
Well, as I said, my feelings on Speedway are quite strong at the moment. Admittedly, I've been a bad boy in the past, but if I'm going to be punished for it, then I'd rather get out of it before anything more happens, you know.
So you could be quitting then?
I could even quit, you know. I'm going to go home and have a serious think about it and see what I come with. You know, I just don't know yet. I want to have a think about it first.
It's been a sad day for you.
Very much so, you know, and it's a sad day for Speedway as well in general.
England, though, unsettled by the refereeing, it seems, today.
I would think so. I think the referee was a bit funny today. I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with it. He did tell us he was going to exclude us for touching the tapes. Therefore, he did what he said he was going to do. I think he's been a bit strict in some of the tape exclusions, but here we are at Speedway.